What's up, everyone? All right, today is day 2 of Trader Rehab, and I couldn't have asked for a better day. I sat down this morning with this focus of trading stocks between 2 and 20. You know what? We had a couple stocks that ended up being outside that parameter on the high end, a little too expensive, and I said, nope, I'm not even going to look at it. It doesn't matter. That's not something that I should touch right now. I got to stay focused between 2 and 20, and I did. In fact, I only traded one stock today. I traded it both in my small account and in my big account. Both accounts are green, which is great. But in the big account, I started by first building a cushion, and I took a number of trades on this stock as it squeezed higher. And I ended up locking up over $42,000. That is some really solid progress. So I'm in Trader Rehab because, as many of you know, 2 days ago, I took a huge loss. I was already red on the day, and then I lost $188,000 on one stock, which put me red $196,000 on the day. I took about an hour and a half off from trading. I stepped back, I kind of calmed myself down, and I came back, and we ended up having a decent setup. And so my last trade on that red day was actually a $23,000 winner. So I kind of started to begin my recovery, slow and steady. $23,000 after being down 200 grand doesn't feel like a lot, but that's the way you recover a big loss. Step by step, small base hit. So then I came in yesterday, day 1 of Trader Rehab. I knew that I had to be disciplined. I had to reduce my share size because the worst thing I could do is have a second big red day in a row. So when I came in yesterday, we had a couple of different stocks moving, and I had small winners on each of them, which totaled to about $26,000 of profit. All right, so now I'm down from minus 172 to minus a little under 150. Now here today, I'm up $42,000 on the day, and that's going to put me down still, a little over $100,000 on the drawdown, but it's tolerable. I'm making really good strides. So you can see this is what the calendar looks like here for the last 30 days. Obviously had a really nice green streak, but then, this big red day hurts. But then that was the recovery yesterday. And so the P&L kind of, curved back up a little bit. And today will be even better once I import the trades. Now, if we look at my detailed P&L, this is year to date. You can see the drawdown right there. So in context, it's almost not even noticeable. And yet, this brought out some huge emotions in me. I mean, this was really an emotional experience to lose that much money in one day. And you might say, well, why? Why would it be? And I think it's because from the very beginning of my career, I've always been in the mindset of trading each day for income, trading to make money. So each day when I sit down, my focus is to try to lock up, initially $100, $200 a day. At this point, it's more like $5,000, $10,000 a day. And so, I have all these days where I show up and I'm just chipping away. And then in one day to give back weeks of progress, it's devastating. I just don't know there's any other way to look at it. I mean, yes, big picture is I've still come so far, even just this year, that this loss wasn't incredibly material, but it did, nonetheless give back a bit of progress. I set myself back, at least, 10 days, something like that. We look at this overview, it set me back to, back here roughly. But, what's interesting about when I was down here at this spot was that I was in a place of so much confidence because I was still on the up ramp. Right here, my P&L, my account is the same, but I'm in a place of feeling like I've got to be on the defense. I'm nervous. I've lost my confidence. So one of the things I said yesterday is that I'm really eager to get back on the horse and to start to rebuild that confidence. And that's going to be a place where I'll start to feel really good. Even if I haven't made back all the money yet, regaining the confidence, that's going to feel really, really good. Okay, so this morning when I first sat down, I pulled up my scans and I noticed their leading gapper was TTRX. And I noticed it was too expensive. It had popped up a pre-market all the way to $52 a share. And I just thought, well, that is no good. That's no good for me. It's too expensive. It had pulled back down to 16 and it bounced back up here. And I just said, no, unfortunately, this is not going to work. One of the lessons that we had learned when we looked at my metrics year to date was that when we sorted by price of above $20, we'll just do above 20 here, that although there was some profit in there, the total profit above 20, only about $130,000 on the year, which is, relatively insignificant. And accuracy, only 61%, as you can see here. And my average losers, 7,500, versus the average winners are only 5,800. And then we do that same, we just switch this to anything under $2 or anything under $20. And all of a sudden, this profit-loss ratio turns around big time. Average losers are only $1,600. Average winners are 3,300. Accuracy, 72%. So I said to myself, for the recovery, for the sake of the recovery, this is really the area where I should be focusing. But I also said that, if I was looking at my metrics or I was looking at the metrics of another trader, and this is what I saw, I would probably say, stop trading anything above $20 a share. And anything between 2 and 20 that really lines up with all your criteria, I would be more aggressive there. I would see if you can increase your share size by another 10%. Just keep pushing the envelope a little bit, increase size, be a little more aggressive, because that's the area where it seems like you're doing well. And so what we don't know is when you'll get diminishing returns, right? When do you end up with so much size, slippage, and everything else ends up taking away what would have been profit with smaller size. So I don't know exactly where that line is, but I think this is where I've got room to grow. And we all want to grow as traders. And so this has kind of maybe been a blessing in disguise, this loss, because now it's got me kind of reoriented to an area of the market where I am performing better. So I've got this scan that I'm working on down here, which is a scan for stocks that are within my 5 pillars of stock selection. The one thing that we've got to just double check is that there's breaking news on it. But BJDX fell in this scanner this morning. It was our second leading gainer. And very quickly, it squeezed up. It went from $2 up to $2.50 to $3, up to $3.50 to $4, $4.50 to $5, all the way to $5.50. It's the only stock I traded in the small account. It's the only stock I traded in the big account. So let's back it up and let's take a look. All right, so first trade on BJDX was early. This one started to squeeze up, right in this area here at about 6:45. And as it starts to push higher, I broke the ice in the small account, and then I broke the ice in the main account. So first there was a dip trade right here at 350. It hits 350, it pulls back. I bought the dip, it pops up, it then dips down, then it squeezes higher. And then there was another dip right under 4. So trading half dollars and whole dollars. These were smaller trades and smaller winners, but kind of, broke the ice and started to get green. Then we squeezed up here to 430. I was not sure about that. We dipped down, then we rally back up right here, and this is a nice setup there for the squeeze up to 470, a little pullback, and then a pop up to $5 a share. Okay, so at this point, we've got that high of 5. We start to pull back right down here. We dip down. It curls back up right here, and right in there's a nice little trade on this break of about 430, and was looking for that squeeze back up to 490. But now we've got this kind of resistance up around 5, right? So you can see that. So we end up dipping back down here. And right here, we double bottom. We have this tweezer bottom. So the double bottom, we then go sideways here, and I noticed a large buyer at about 450. When I saw that, that gave me the confidence to take a starter position at about 455. Stop was about 448. It then breaks 455, goes to 460, 465, and I added, as it broke over the high of this candle here, for 470. Then I'm adding for the break of 490. Now, because I took my starter down here, I'm in a really good position to add. We end up breaking $5 right here, and we squeeze all the way up to a high of 530. We pull back, and we pop up to a high of 548 right there, and I took the rest off the table when this candle ended up forming as a little doji and coming back down. And so, this was just like a fantastic area where the stock went up over 100% from 250 to 5. Realistically, it wasn't as clean as some of the other setups we've seen, but because I was so focused on it, I was really dialed in on the level 2. I knew this stock met my 5 pillars of stock selection, and it was the one to trade. We got another pullback through here, as you can see, and then we got another rally and a little pop back up to 560, and then from there it started to unwind. So all of this was before 7:30 in the morning. It was relatively early. So at 7:30, this ends up pulling back, and I'm saying, all right, let's wait for another stock to hit the scans. And we got nothing at 7:30. There was nothing with good news at 7:30. I mean, there were some stocks at the scans, but none of them were stocks I really liked. So if we back up on the scans here, let's see, I've got to load them up. We scroll back. 7:30, a couple stocks hit, but nothing really that exciting. And then we come up to 8. Again, 8 o'clock, nothing hits the scanner that really looks that good. So I get no trades at 8. Then 8:30, nothing hits the scanner. Then we're coming up to 9, and I'm thinking, man, I can't believe it, but it feels like all of our momentum today was in the first, 30 minutes, and then it just totally cooled off. So, and then I'll tell you, GLTO hits the scans. And I said, nope, I can't. I can't. This is the one I lost $188,000 on 2 days ago. And although it squeezed up and did give a nice pullback at 14 and another one right here around 16, I just said, nope. I think if I lose on it again, I'm going to be too frustrated, and it's just not worth it. And I'm not going to probably make that much on it because the price is a little higher, the spreads are a little bigger, and the relative volume is pretty low because the big day was, 2 days ago. And now it's just a little bounce off the low. So I held discipline. I didn't trade it. And so in total, I only traded that one stock. Nothing else popped up and hit the scanners, and that was okay. Now, at 7:30, I thought this might end up being a really good day. Now I've got a solid cushion, right? Who knows? We get good news at 7:30 or at 8. This could end up being a fantastic day, and it just didn't happen. And there was nothing I could do to control that. We're going to have good headlines and good news, or we didn't. And so what I was able to control was how much risk I was willing to take. And because I didn't see anything that really closely met all 5 pillars, or at least 4 of the 5 for my stock criteria, my stock selection indicators, I ended up saying, no, I'm just not going to take any more trades. And so I think today was good discipline. I've now recovered almost half of the drawdown, which puts me in a really good position going into the end of the week. Am I still down $100,000, on the week? Yeah, I am. So good position is relative. But my confidence is night and day from where I was at the end of the day on Tuesday. So I feel like I'm turning it around. This is good. And I'll be back at it bright and early tomorrow morning, Friday, for day 3 of Trader Rehab. And hopefully we can get a good scan with some nice trades with some good, good catalysts. That would be the best case scenario. But I'm also going to be setting expectations low because it's Friday. It's the end of the week. Companies are more inclined to put out good news at the beginning of the week, not the end of the week. So, I'll take what I can get, but if it's a slow Friday, that's okay too, because I'll be back at it Monday morning. The market's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. Yes, this path to recovery is going to hurt for a couple more days, maybe not all next week, but I'm going to make back this loss, and I still have my sights set on finishing October in good shape and in the green. So as always, for those of you guys tuning in, make sure you check out some of the other episodes I've uploaded here on YouTube, including, if you want, the Big Red Day, the recap from that, Day 1 of Trader Rehab, or you could check out the new Small Account Challenge. I am definitely past due for an update on the Small Account Challenge. Have traded in it every day this week, but I'm going to get to that and give you guys a good recap of where the progress is in that challenge. If not tomorrow, then very soon. So thank you guys as always for tuning in. And a reminder, trading is risky. My results aren't typical, so please manage your risk and always practice a simulator before putting real money on the line. I'll see you guys bright and early streaming at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning.